Hey, it's Music by Lucas. I'm here on the roof in beautiful Barcelona, Spain, because I wanted to mix things up a little bit. My new track, Fall For You, just came out on Future House Music with Askeda and Nate and Chain, so I wanted to do a video about how that track was signed, because the story's a little bit different than my last tracks. Okay, let's tell the story of the track Fall For You. And I have Lauren here as well, because she was very instrumental in all of the different factors
Everyone
that went into
was,
this.
because this track was a collaboration, so you know, it's you and two other artists, and also, of course, working with the label and everything like that. So I think to hear about how this collab worked will help anybody who's currently in a collab or thinking about doing a collab in the future. So I guess the best way to start would be how we met everyone, how we came in contact with everybody, because I think a lot of people ask that question with us a lot anyway. They're like, Lucas, how do you have all these contacts? Or also, they might just have a question on how you contact somebody you want to collab with, or how to get people to collab with.
So we'll start with Future House Music. So I remember we were at Spinnin' Hotel, which if you guys don't know is at Miami Music Week. It's like a Spinnin' Records event. And we were there and there was a lot of people coming in and out of the event, different artists, different people. And you kind of are like, who's this, who's that? Because you're trying to network with as many people as possible, which is really important. That's the whole reason to go to these events if you're a producer, is to network. Like you might think like, oh, you're in Miami Music Week, like it's time to party. And it's like, yeah, that is definitely going to probably happen because you're there, but you also have to keep your eyes open and stay on top of things. So we were there, and I remember seeing the Future House Music guys hanging out. And I remember, because I had not met them at this point, but I remember talking to you and being like, I think those are the guys from Future House Music. Yeah,
and I was like, just go say hi. Just say hi to everybody. I think you guys send emails to people, which is nice and impactful, especially if your track is great or, you know, you have a good story. But just an in-person introduction, I think, is more impactful. So if you, like Lucas said, if you guys go to these types of events, maybe you can't make it to Miami, that's fine, but of course there's other events throughout the year. It's really nice to get physically in front of these people. Demo drops, anytime, any opportunity to say hi, because Lucas did end up saying hi. We were introduced.
Because we were introduced and it was just kind of like pleasantries, like normal conversation, nothing too crazy. And
don't be like, I have all these tracks. You're like, no, just introduce yourself, say hi, you know,
and that
talk.
It was funny because that was it. That was as far as it got, was just talking. And then I didn't really know if anything would come from it or whatever. But then it was funny because we were still at the event, because these events last a few days. And we actually started talking again and then again and got to know each other more and more. And I think that's the thing, is just about being chill and being relaxed and being friendly with people. Because if you're both in the music industry, obviously the conversation of music is going to come up because it's what you do. So you don't have to
you have it in common, exactly. And so that happened, and then we decided to go back to Amsterdam in the summer just to like hang out with all of our friends and just to kind of get a lay of the land, because we were thinking about coming for ADE in the fall, and we were like, well, we don't really know what to expect, so let's go in the summer and try to see if ADE is, just get the details together.
Some info.
And didn't we reach out to all of our friends and people we met at Spinnin' Hotel, and one of them was Future House Music, right?
Yeah, and they invited us to come to their office. And again, not business, just coming to the office, just saying hi, and just, being friends. And we had a great time with them in the summer.
Got coffees, basically, and just chatted.
And I remember I had told them about Future Trance, because I was explaining to them the whole idea behind Future Trance and what it was, like being future house, but then also like melodic, like trance vibes. And so I remember that conversation. And then there was ADE after that.
Yeah, so we came back to Amsterdam. In between that, we were like, let's just sell everything in Los Angeles and travel around and meet more people. We just had such great meetings with people, being in places and traveling. We wanted to continue that. That was one of our main reasons, was to be able to travel and meet people. And so we sold everything in LA, and then right after that was ADE, which, if you don't know, that is that's
Amsterdam
like a
dance event.
Yeah, it's a conference sort of show.
That's the big one. It's days. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like 5 days in itself, but then there's prep before that, and there's people hanging after that, so it can really last for a while.
Right, and we just hit up all of our friends and everybody again, and we asked Future House if they wanted to do a video on our YouTube channel, because just how they started the label is so interesting and, very relatable to us with Team MBL. Team MBL.
Yeah.
Kind of slurred that. And we sat down, chatted, and made the video. So another touch, it's all about just small touches.
Staying in contact.
That sort of thing. And this is just one story. There's several other stories of people that we came in contact with. But when you guys say, how did you meet these people? Or of course they want to talk to you because, or you have their number, or can you give me their email? It's just about the touches and just being, there for each other and chatting. It's not about the forcefulness of a relationship.
And even if you can't meet them in person.
I don't know if I explained that right.
I think you did. And even if you can't meet people in person, just know that we were talking to people online for years before we actually started meeting people in person. So you might be saying like, oh, well, I can't travel to Amsterdam. And that's totally fine because we couldn't at first either. And so we started online.
Right. And we weren't like, I don't know. Everything happens so naturally. So it's hard for us to even explain to you, some of these questions when you ask us, because we're like, I don't know, it just happened, but that's not a very good explanation.
It's actually, that's exactly how it happened with Askeda and Nate and Shane, because we also met them at ADE.
ADE. We were just outside of a spin-in pop-up shop, and then
they walked up.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, are you musicbyLukas, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is cool. Like, it's nice to meet people from, because they had just been on Hexagon, and I had heard their track there. And so we got to talking, and again, we didn't talk about collabing at all. It was just, let's exchange some information and talk and have a good time. And so again, you don't have to force, you don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to show everyone, here's my headphones, listen to my track. Because if you just are friendly with people, like I said, you're both in the music industry. Me, Askeda, Nate, and Shane, we all make the same style of music even.
And stay in contact, of course.
Yeah, so we stay in contact. Eventually it's going to come up, and that's exactly what happened. Me and Askeda, Nate, and Shane were still talking, but no collab has happened yet. And then at the same time, if you remember, I had talked about Future Trance with Future House Music, and they were starting to see that, maybe not Future Trance itself, but more melodic Future House starting to take off, that style of Future House, more artists trying the Future Trance kind of stuff. And so we were talking, me and Future House Music, and they were telling me that they would like to launch a new playlist on Spotify called Future Trance Top 50. And they asked me if I thought I would want to collaborate on it to help them, find some tracks and help them get the playlist going.
And this is 6 months after you ever discuss Future Trance with them that this happened.
Yeah.
So,
This is just how things happen.
Yeah.
They just develop, and you can't really you just have to kind of be patient and not force anything, stay in touch, be friendly.
It's tough. I think what Lucas said just now, be patient. I think that's the hardest thing because you are always wanting to be like, when is this going to, show itself as a nice relationship? Well, just make relationships with everybody you think is a cool guy. I loved Future House Music because, like I said, they reminded us of Team MBL because the way we both got our starts was kind of similar. Mm-hmm. And so I was just always interested in that. Of course, I'm not producing any music, so, but yeah.
Not yet.
Wow, that's true.
So naturally, of course, like I said, if you're in music and another person's in music and you're talking about things, eventually you start sending track ideas back and forth. So me, Askeda, Nate, and Shane had a group chat going on WhatsApp. And so we were messaging different ideas back and forth and eventually got to the idea of Fall For You, which of course didn't have a title at the time. And it was really just about how, could we work on this track together? Could we make it maybe a song that we could pitch to different labels?
Exactly, and I think that's how it works with your guys' collabs too. If you're listening to this or watching this, if you have something that's really good for somebody else, send it to them, mm-hmm. And keep in contact with everybody and try if you want to collab. That's
especially
the way to do it.
If you have a track that you're stuck on, you don't know how to finish it, but maybe it's a really good break or a really good drop, and you're like, I just wish I knew how to tie this together. That is a perfect time to start sending it out for collabs. That's how I do most of my collabs are like that. I like to just come up with a basic idea and then send it out and see if anyone thinks hey, I could really work on this. Or again, if I feel I can get this done myself and I know the whole story of the track, I'm inspired to do it, then I'll finish it myself. So it really just depends.
And with this track, it had that sort of Future Trance quality to it, so they thought, well, the perfect label to send it to would be Future House Music.
Right.
That's what happened next. It wasn't like they all coincided and you were like, that's the only label I'm going to send any of my tracks to ever because I know those guys.
Yeah.
It's a perfect track for their label, and that's something that's tough too, because what if you have a good relationship with a label but you get a track done that's not right for them? Should you still send it to them?
Mm-hmm.
no, send it to the label where the track will belong, because it's nice that you send it to them, but they're going to say it's not exactly our sound.
Right, exactly. And also, it wasn't just like, oh, you know, Future House Music knew me, so they immediately signed the track. No, they heard the track and said, this is a good idea, but there's a few things that we like you to work on. They had a few
notes, and that's great. If you get that feedback, then you know, one, moving forward, what they're going to like in the future, and two, what you can change to see if it'll get signed.
Because at the end of the day, it is all about the music. Obviously, you need to get connections. You need to try to come to events or be online, you know, talking to people if you can, just so you have people to send it to. But at the end of the day, if the music is not good, they're not going to sign it regardless. So
that's right. And so don't feel too pressured about networking. Oh, I can't make it to this event, or I'm never going to get in contact with them, or I have nothing to share or to show, so of course no one's going to talk to me. Try not to think those negative thoughts, because that is not what it's all about at the end of the day. This is one story, like I said, and there's several stories to where a track gets signed.
And then we finished the track was signed, and 2 months later, here we are on release day. So go check out the track. The link's in the description below. Let me know what you think, and head on over to the after party. It's gonna be with me, Askeda and Nate and Shane, Lauren Z. Ray.
I'm gonna be there.
She's gonna be there.
This video, but I'll be there.
Exactly, so don't forget to give this video a like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.